So, welcome back to Rain Outdoors, everybody. Today I was going to go fishing somewhere on some lake, but it was raining this morning. It rained off and on all morning, so I just said, set it to the side, save it for another day. So, in the meantime, I figured I'd do an overview of my kayak and how I have it set up. I'm running an Ascend FS12T, pretty solid kayak, and we'll go over everything I think about it, what I like, what I don't like, and how I have my gear set up on it. And we'll go from front to back, and we'll also go over the hull too. A lot of people, or at least me, I like seeing holes on the kayak, see how they're designed and how they're going to function. So we'll go over all that. I'll have the camera in my hands, and we'll go over each little section so you get a good view, and I'll kind of walk you through it all. Okay, everybody. Here's the front of the kayak. It's got one of the simple rope handles with rubber over it for comfort. Not a special found, just kind of standard. On the front of my kayak, that's where I run my soft plastics bag, and there's this front cargo area. Makes it easier for me to get to. I don't have to crawl around my kayak too much. I just lean forward and grab it, and it makes it easy so I can switch soft plastics a lot. Under it, there is some bungee cord storage. I wish, so right here, these bungee cords, they're just screwed down. They don't have the hooks. I wish they had the hooks, make it a little easier to put stuff under it and really secure them down a little better. That's one thing I wish they would change. So you should put stuff under there pretty easily, and it gets nice and secured still. So following that, that's where I got my fish finder. You can see that video on this channel as well, where I put that together and place it. I have Velcro holding it down. It's got a little wobble to it, but it stays there really well. I don't have any problems with that. So along with the fish finder, I use a Scotty mount transducer on these track rails here. There's one on each side of the kayak, one here and one there. So you can put pretty much whatever you want that uses a gear track. So there's the Scotty mount. Just drop it in the water and start the fish finder up when I'm fishing. This deck in the cockpit area does have foam padding. Quiets everything down when you're walking on it, or if you're changing baits and you drop stuff. Also makes it a little more comfortable when you're standing up in the kayak. In the middle of the cockpit area, there is a dry hatch. It's not super dry, but every time when I get done, there's water in there. So it's just a little small area. There's foam in there. Gives support for the standing platform and to keep your stuff from sliding all over your kayak. Also, right in the cockpit area, I always run 2 rods right there so I can access them quickly. So you can see those in my videos. I switch them back and forth quite a bit. I usually use something that's moving and then something that stays still to fish-wise. And they run up to the front. They stay on my way pretty well, and I can stand up with them, no problem. There's a dry hatch area here, right behind the boat hatch. It's for just the day stuff, keys or whatever, and this little bag pops out as well and just drops back in. Behind that's your cup holder. I use it for my knife usually. Holds it pretty well and it's in a good spot. There's 2 little trays on the side you can use for just pretty much whatever you want to store there. And then now we're getting to the seat. So there's the seat. It's a very comfortable seat. It's got good support in it. It holds you very well and it's nice and comfortable. It comes out, you can use it as like a camping chair as well, just a small one. The only thing I don't like about it is it's so low in the kayak. I mean, it's on the bottom of the kayak there. I wish it was a little higher, make it easier to paddle, easier to stand up, and be more comfortable throughout the whole day. So that's one negative thing I wish they would change about this kayak, is the seat just be higher. But not bad, not good, just kind of there. Following behind there, you got 2 flush mount rod holders with an attachment for a rod leash. There's the attachment. I always run 4 rods when I'm on a lake, so I got plenty of options to use throughout the day. And they're easy to reach. You just turn in your seat and you can grab a pole really easy, really quick, which is very nice to have. And right behind the seat, that's where I run my tackle box, as you can see here. This area could fit a black pack or a milk crate or like a tackle box like I got. Has the Plano style boxes in it. I can fit a ton of stuff in there and make it easy to get to all the time. So as you can see here, I have my measuring tool for fish and also my my dip net for fish. I put those right there because they're out of the way, but yeah, I can still access them really easily by just turning backwards in my seat and grabbing them. That makes it quick and easy to get in and out of while I'm fishing. Also, I can run 5 or 6 rods if I want. There's 2 scupper holes back here, and they're just big enough to put a rod into and hold it securely. The tips do get a little wet, but that's not too big a deal. You just dry them off when you get home. So there's my kayak setup, and we'll kind of run back front to back again. So got my dip net and my ruler there, followed by my tackle, a few rods, the seat, a couple more rods I use consistently, a hatch in the day pack area, the transducer, fish finder, and the front cargo area where I keep my soft plastics. Now last thing is paddle holder. So paddles on the side, as you can see right here. One thing I don't like about it is if you push it back, it falls out because these here flip down flat. I wish this paddle holder was just a bungee cord with a hook. That'd be a lot more secure, I think, and a lot better for it. So there's that of the setup. So I'm going to strip it down and we'll talk about performance next. Okay, so let's talk about performance now. So this kayak, it's about $550 or $600 brand new. So if you go off price on your performance for your kayaks, that kind of gives you an idea where you're at. It's not a $1,000 kayak. It's also not a $200 kayak. I think it performs really well for what it is. If I was going to give it out of 5 stars, I'd give it a 3, 3.5. I think it's an average to a slightly above average kayak. Speed-wise, I can probably go 4 or 5 mile an hour in it if I'm really huffing and paddling. Tracking-wise, while you're paddling, it does really well. It doesn't really have a whole lot of nose wobble with it. It goes pretty true and straight. But once you stop paddling, it really wants to swing you around to the right, and it happens to me pretty much every time. I think it goes more to the hull design more than my just how I have my weight displaced on my kayak. I think the hull, just how the water comes out the back, it swirls it and pushes it to the right every time. So that's one thing I think they can improve on with this kayak. If you get used to it, you can kind of counteract it with just your paddle when you slow down. It's not too big a deal, but it's just something that you would note, that you'd notice when you're using it. Standing ability, from the seat position, I think you have to have fairly good balance and strength, and so you can actually stand up on it, because it's a little wobbly, and just for that seat being so low, it makes it kind of hard to stand up easily. It doesn't have a stand-up strap, so you're just kind of on your own with it, unless you install one. I can stand up in it fairly easy now that I've used it quite a bit. Once I get stood up, I'm fairly stable. The primary stability on it is not, the greatest in the world, but it's decent. If you kind of lean, it just kind of keeps wanting to lean. It doesn't really want to stick hard like some more expensive kayaks will. With that, I've had times where I felt like I'm about to go in the water. Luckily I haven't, whether it's just me regaining my balance or the kayak acting, it just leans more than I'm comfortable with on it. So that's another thing with the hull design. It can be better, is just give it more stability and better tracking. I feel like this Ascend, they're owned by Bass Pro and Tracker boats. I feel they have some pretty good engineers over there that they could get a little better hull design on it so it would track better and be more stable kayak with the same price. You get a better kayak if you're going to get it like Walmart or something, or some other big box store for the most part, but you're still not like into your quality that you would get at a true pro store for kayaks. Durability wise, it's very durable kayaks. The plastic is pretty strong for the price. I've run it into boulders or dug it in rocks and rivers, and haven't really had scuffed it up or put any dents in it, so I'm very happy with that. So overall, like I said, 3.5 stars out of 5. It's a good kayak for the money. If you're wanting to get into kayak fishing, I think it's the best for your money. The other kayak you might look into at this price point would be like a Perception Pescador. I like this kayak a little better for the layout of it, and for how much I can store easily on it. I think the Pescador is probably a little better tracking kayak and paddling kayak, but it comes into what you personally like more, and I would go with this one over the Pescador right now. So next I'll show you the hull of the kayak and give you kind of a see what I'm talking about, why it's not as stable and why it doesn't track as good when you stop paddling. So we'll do that. Alright, so now we're looking at the hull of the kayak. It comes from a pointed nose, and then the keel will go all the way down the kayak, and I'll kind of go the whole way. And it's about 1.5 or 2 inch keel. So it's not really all that much of a keel. I wish it was a little bigger keel and it would probably track a little better and be a little more stable. As you can see here, it's just a beveled out area from the keel on both sides to the edge. And that's kind of why I think it paddles kind of like a barge. It doesn't turn on a dime. Takes a lot of effort to turn it, and it takes some time to turn it as well. It takes a little bit of, takes a big radius or a diameter to turn it. That's to just do this whole design. It's kind of flat like a flat bottom john boat. You know, it's going to be relatively stable, but could be a lot better. Just with some better maybe channel runs in it, or a bigger keel I think would do a lot for this kayak and make it a lot better kayak as well. So there's the hull on it. That's why it's not as stable as it could be. Tracking wise, I think it all comes to the back of this kayak here. Let me get this back down a little bit. There we go. So there's the back of the kayak. And I'll get kind of a little side view of it here. And the water just comes off of this here, and I think it just swirls just because of the way it's beveled and the way the keel acts on it, and then it swings you around. So there's the keel. You can kind of get a better look at it without having to go into the store now. So overall, fairly decent kayak, fairly stable, relatively quick, but could use some improvements. Here's my review of my Ascend FS12T kayak, how I have it set up, what I think about it, how it performs and all that. If you got any comments, suggestions, or questions, leave them in the comment section below and I'll get back to you with it. I really suggest at least giving this kayak a look out if you're just entering kayak fishing. Get on Craigslist, see if there's anything around it with one of these, or go to your local Bass Pro and give them a good look over. So other than that, we'll see you next time out on the water.